Welcome Trinidad and Tobago to our News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited. I'm Nicola Barreto. Let's take a look at the headlines. National Security Minister highlights the great impact the contributions of fathers can have on the progress of the youth in particular. Meteorological Services of Trinidad and Tobago urges citizens to get ready for the hurricane season. And Trinidad is home to the world's third largest nesting site to 5 of the world's 7 species of marine turtles. Thank you for joining us to our top story. National Security Minister Senator the Honorable Brigadier John Sandy is urging fathers to step up and play their role in society, highlighting the great impact the contributions of fathers can have on the progress of youth in particular. Minister Sandy announced an upcoming fatherhood fair, which he says is one of the initiatives by his ministry to enable fathers to bond with their children.
When we go out to these respective communities, we find that there's an absence of fathers. In one of those communities we went, in excess of 100 people there, adults, we are speaking with them, and there are probably 10, 12 fathers. And we asked the question, where are the fathers? And that prompted me and my team to host our Fathers Fair last year. And we are doing so again this year because we want to make it an annual thing. Now, let me hasten to add, because last year we were accused of ignoring mothers. So mothers are invited as well.
The role of fathers in society is being highlighted as government assures that it will do all that is possible to assist young people, particularly in depressed communities, to refrain from a life of crime. Speaking at a discussion on the ministry's crime reduction strategies at the Crown Plaza Hotel, the National Security Minister outlined how responsible fathers can change the course of direction of their children by executing their role as positive examples.
We are concentrating on the relationship between fathers and sons. We want to bring back the fathers to the sons and the sons to the fathers, because we feel that we have lost that. And if we were to regain it, allow our fathers to understand that they need to nurture their sons and guide their sons, I think we'll be successful as a nation, as a people. So, to get in a little ad here, at the Queen's Park Savannah on Saturday the 16th of June, 1 p.m., under the distinguished patronage of His Excellency the President, we will again be hosting our Fathers Fair, and I'm inviting all families of Trinidad and Tobago, all to attend. We'll have a grand time, and we'll see the bonding of our parents and our children, which will only augur well for Trinidad and Tobago.
Minister Sandy says the approach to reducing crime will be youth-centered with the implementation of several youth programs. He made mention of the positive impact that the cadet force has had on youngsters at secondary schools, while also revealing plans to host a Panyard initiative during the August vacation throughout various parts of the country. He says the project will help young persons to develop life skills through mentoring via the steel pan and other conventional instruments.
We are looking at a cadet force with the objective being to have one cadet force unit in every secondary school in Trinidad and Tobago. It inculcates discipline, it allows development of leadership qualities, and much, much more. I came from there, I know. We looked at as well as our Panyard initiative to help young people develop life skills. And the Panyard initiative is not confined to the steel pan alone. Other instruments are involved. And as you recognize that it is our intention during the July-August holidays, some of you say summer holidays, we are looking at the following areas with the following steel bands and their respective pan theaters to house that program.
The National Security Minister adds that his ministry is focusing on getting community members to work together in harmony with each other. He says the aim is to adopt a more holistic approach to crime fighting and crime prevention in this country.
We are trying to get families together, get communities together. And what we are saying with our Community Patriotism Initiative is let's compete in sports and culture and other similar activities and not guns and violence. We invite your partnership. And we must ask each other and ask ourselves, what is our contribution? Because national security, ladies and gentlemen, is national. And having regard to the fact that we know that national security is national, I urge you to join with us as we take the fight to those bent on endangering our society and our region, and help us to set the conditions for national and personal security, and by extension, lasting peace and prosperity in our beautiful Twin Island Republic.
Minister Sandy says a border protection plan has been developed to suppress illegal arms, drugs and human trafficking. He adds that since the machine-readable passports were introduced, there has been a significant reduction in the incidence of fraudulent travel documents. Veena Bharat, News 4.
Parents are being urged to encourage their children to lead active lives by discouraging them from watching television for prolonged hours and instead participate in sports. This message came from the Northwest Regional Health Authority CEO Judith Balaram Ramuta, who was speaking at a grand Fight the Fat health fair.
The word wealth is commonly associated with money, valuable items and luxury. But according to the Northwest Regional Health Authority's CEO Judith Balaram Ramuta, our greatest wealth is in fact our health. She was speaking at the NWRHA's Grand Fight the Fat Health Fair, where she broke the news that Trinidad and Tobago has the highest overall percentage of deaths due to chronic non-communicable diseases. As a result, Mrs. Ramuta says the fair is the start of a series of health fairs to be hosted throughout the Northwest region on a monthly basis. She is also urging persons to make the sacrifice to practice healthy living in spite of the many constraints.
Cardiovascular diseases, diabetes, strokes, and cancer. As a result of these disturbing facts, the Ministry of Health launched its campaign, Fight the Fat Wellness Revolution, in November 2011. This drive is to promote a lifestyle change in citizens, one that encourages persons to take charge of their health and overall well-being.
The NWRHA's CEO is also revealing that eating healthy doesn't necessarily mean spending lavishly. She provided valuable tips on healthy meal preparation while also encouraging parents to prepare healthy meals for their children.
Contrary to popular beliefs, a healthy diet need not put a burden on your pockets. There are many cost-free ways to ensure that we keep a balanced diet, such as the way we cook our food by using little oil, using less sugar, more whole grain food, and drinking lots of water, among others.
She is also offering a word of advice to persons who may already be suffering from chronic non-communicable diseases.
Starting a healthy lifestyle is never too late. If you are suffering from any of these diseases, you can still improve the quality of your life and thus minimize the chances of your condition getting worse. In addition, it is equally important that people visit our health facilities for regular medical checkups and reporting of any ailments, so that such diseases can be detected in time for effective management and treatment.
Veena Bharat, News 4.
More news after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. The hurricane season is here, and the Meteorological Services of Trinidad and Tobago is urging citizens to get ready despite the forecast of a below normal active season. The Met Services presented the data during the conference held to announce the official start of the 2012 hurricane season.
The 2012 Atlantic hurricane season will be below average, with 10 tropical storms, 4 of which will strengthen into hurricanes. This according to the local Met Services in announcing the official start of this year's season. So far, 2 storms have already formed in the Atlantic and have affected residents in Florida. However, climatologist Arlene Aaron Morrison is saying this early start does not necessarily mean a prolonged storm season.
For the 2012 Atlantic hurricane season, it's anticipated that we'll have reduced activity compared with the 1981 to 2010 climatology. There are changes in temperature and rainfall patterns. The rainfall for 2012 is expected to be normal to slightly above normal. Please be reminded it's a guide, and there's going to be reduced activity for the 2012 hurricane season.
And as to why we have experienced such heavy rainfall during what was supposed to be a dry season, Mrs. Morrison explained those extremely rainy days were nothing short of normal weather patterns.
Currently, we are in a neutral phase, neither El Nino nor La Nina. Conditions are forecasted to remain in a neutral phase until the October to November period before it is in the El Nino phase. El Nino for the region means below normal rainfall. When we say normal, we're referring to the rainfall averaged over a period of 30 years. Above and below normal refers to that range of rainfall which is 1% more or less than the normal rainfall. There is uncertainty which condition the season will favor, since the forecast continues to be between neutral and El Nino phase.
Emmanuel Molchan, director at the Met Services Division, noted that while damages to property due to rainfall have increased over the years gone by, this was not due to changes in rainfall, but to man-made practices. He added that as a result, the Met Services have implemented new systems aimed at monitoring unusual weather changes.
I have seen rainfall events that would have resulted in little disruptions 10 to 15 years ago. But similar amounts now cause serious disruptions to citizens and destruction to property. Removing the natural vegetation and replacing it with zinc roofing and concrete, and not catering for the sharp quantitative increase in the runoff, can and will result in flash flooding. An automated weather observing system will be installed at Piaco before the end of this year. That will provide accurate real-time runway meteorological conditions to aircrafts approaching and taking off.
The Met Services also took the opportunity to launch its new website, just in time for keeping citizens abreast with the latest news for this year's hurricane season. The website can now boast of easier navigation for visitors to the site looking to get the latest weather forecast, as well as satellite imagery over the region. Kimberly Ramkalawan, News 4.
It's known around the globe that Trinidad is home to the world's 3rd largest nesting site to 5 of the world's 7 species of marine turtles. Government is said to be taking further steps to promote its conservation projects financed by the Green Fund aimed at preserving these creatures. While addressing the first ever Sea Turtle Symposium held in Trinidad, Environment Minister Dr. the Honorable Rudal Munilal told participants through these measures, this country could see a significant increase in visiting turtle populations.
Further amendments to laws protecting turtles and their eggs from poachers will see greater safeguarding measures to these rare endangered marine animals. CEO of the Environmental Management Authority, Dr. Joe Singh, noted that through this, the AMA will now have the legislative teeth to clamp down on the harvesting of these turtles and their eggs. His comments came during the opening of the Environmental Management Authority's Sea Turtle Symposium at Hyatt Regency.
I must at this point applaud the efforts of the Honorable Vasant Bharat and the Ministry of Food Production, Land and Marine Affairs for recognizing the conflict these 2 pieces of legislation presented. Basically, turtles were protected by legislation on land, but in the ocean they were fair game. Cabinet's approval to amend the Fisheries Act to prohibit the taking, removing or selling of any turtle eggs and to prohibit the killing, harpooning or selling of any turtle now enables the EMA to proceed with the designation of sea turtles in a more sensitive way.
However, Environment Minister Dr. Rudal Munilal said it was his ministry's aim to focus on all aspects of conservation, as sea turtles hold the potential for this country becoming a viable ecotourism destination.
The importance placed on today's initiative arises due to the fact that Trinidad and Tobago is home to 5 of the world's 7 species of sea turtles. This fact means that with one visit to our country, a tourist can have the opportunity to see almost all of the world's species of sea turtles. I understand that our shores support the largest known nesting population of the leatherback turtle in the Caribbean, with this nesting population of the leatherback turtle also being the 2nd largest in the world. We have seen the advent of thriving ecotourism businesses, especially among the north coast of Trinidad and Tobago.
The minister added the Institute of Marine Affairs had proposed 2 preservation projects towards the development of live bait fishing as well as the creation of hatchment areas.
The first is the development of live bait fishing on the northeast coast of Trinidad. This is an effort to encourage movement away from gillnet fishing to live bait fishing through the turtle nesting season. As many of you may already be aware, many leatherback turtles are caught in gillnets and drowned. The second project I wanted to mention briefly, which is again led by the IMA, is the development of hatchery in the Grand River area. This is an effort to save doomed nests. In fact, I understand that due to the large number of leatherback turtles nesting on Grand River, some nets are dug up by other sea turtles coming onshore during this active season. In these instances, the eggs will be collected, incubated, and the hatching reused. I would like to add that for both these projects, applications have been made to the Green Fund for financing.
While Minister Munilal highlighted several issues, he noted that there were still many to be addressed in the legislation looking to protect wildlife. He says this can only be done when legislation is supported by education and enforcement. Kimberly Ramkalawan, News 4.
Wayne Cunningham has a sport report right after the break.
We are reporting from communities across the country. People are calling Nalis Libraries their library. Tell me, why is Nalis your library?
My library is where I can have fun learning.
My library is helping me earn better grades with online research resources.
My library is my gateway to the world of information.
My library is providing access to the differently abled. As a visually impaired person, I can envision limitless possibilities.
My library is making my world truly worldwide with free internet access.
My library is helping me keep an eye on my health with access to the virtual health library via the Nalis website.
Nalis is my library.
Basketball features in our sportscast. The campaign of San Juan Warriors in the first division of the North Zone Basketball League has been rocky to say the least. Since defeating Pistons in April, San Juan has not registered a win. They lost again last week, but the performance of guard Sean Solomon was spectacular. Wayne Cunningham has the highlights from that match, as well as a rundown of the scores from the weekend's matches.
San Juan Warriors were in desperate need of a win when they met National Flour Mills in the North Zone Basketball League. They caught NFN by surprise with a quick start as they registered 4 points early. They continued to pour it on in the first quarter with Sean Solomon leading the way. Opportunity for them, NFM woke up. And by mid-second quarter, they began to pull away. Solomon was still there and dropping in the points for San Juan, but despite his efforts, his team trailed by 10 at halftime. In the second half, Solomon got some help from Corey Lee Hood, who had 10 points on the night for San Juan. Flour Mills, on the other hand, had a lot more men touching the basketball. with Ashton De Morel top scoring for them with 15 and 13 each from Kerry McMillan and Quasi Julian. The lead was 5 for NFM late in the third, and with their scoring consistency, it looked grim for San Juan. That lead was cut to 2 in the fourth due to a massive effort by Sean Solomon. His game-high 38 points was the most by any player in a game this season, but it was not enough to stop NFM, who won 78-66, mainly due to a lack of defense from San Juan. San Juan were also on the losing end this weekend when they came up against Caledonia Clippers. Solomon only managed 16 on this occasion, but was still his team's high scorer as they went down 72-80. Akil Painter with 21 and 14 from Dexter Moraine were the top scorers for Caledonia, who kept pace with leaders Shaq Attack and the defense force for a Big Four spot. In the second division, the defense force looked good with an 11-point win over Togetherness. 66-55 the score. Jay George had 17 for Togetherness, while Anton Noel with 21 was the game-high scorer for the Army. He got help from Mark Roberts, who dropped in 15. Matches continue tonight at the Jean Pierre Sports Complex. Wayne Cunningham, News 4 Sports.
When we come back, fulfilling the promise.
Hello, ever thought of cutting your TSTT business landline costs? It's simply a smart choice to make, only from Blink. One fixed monthly rate for bundled local minutes, bundled mobile minutes, bundled international minutes, and many free calling features, all wrapped up to save you a bundle. Smart choice, only from Blink. A bundle of joy.
In our special feature, Fulfilling the Promise, we highlight the initiatives and achievements of the government over its 2 years in office. At News 4, we have joined in that effort, and each day in our news package, we feature one of those highlights from the long and impressive list of milestones over these 24 months. In this story, we look at the opening of the YTEP Center in Woodlands.
Developing the minds of persons throughout the various communities. These are the words of Urpuj West MP Stacey Rupnarine, who spoke at the launch of the YTEP training program at the Woodland Community Center. Minister Rupnarine says with the various programs being offered at YTEP, persons young and not so young will be able to obtain advanced training and certification to allow them access into the world of work.
So we have to go one step further. And we have to ensure that we develop our human resource, we develop our people. Prime Minister, the Honorable Kamala Prasad Bisesa, has always said that her government is a people-centric one. And for any country to develop, its people must first be developed. And so that is why we are here today, to offer you, the community, access to this YTEP program, to allow you to educate yourselves, to become certified as well, so that you can have an opportunity to move on from programs such as URP and CPEP, which some of you may currently be enrolled in.
The Urpuj West MP says the opportunity extended to the very fortunate community allows them to think even further into opening their own businesses.
Right here in our community, we now have access to this YTEP program, where you yourselves can come and learn. You can bring your children. They can come and learn. And from this, they can become entrepreneurs in their own way.
While pledging her commitment to continue working closely with her community members, Ms. Rupnarine is urging persons to come forward with ideas on what other programs are needed in the area.
If you come to me and you say what is in need of the people of the area, then we can bring those services directly to you. So that way you also have a say in the development of your community.
Well, before we wrap up, we, the staff here at the Government Information Services Limited, we had a bit of fun of our own as we hosted our very own in-house Indian Arrival Day fashion show, of course, held inside the newsroom. Needless to say, we crowned a king and a queen.
Proud and striking contestants got the opportunity to strut their stuff on the catwalk to the beat of traditional Bhangra music. Extra points were awarded for models who commanded the crowd's attention with their confident and dashing poses, bracing the floors in Bollywood style. This competition also saw some of the most dashing young men whose daring look on the catwalk drew loud cheers from the newsroom audience. All in all, the fun crew at Government Information Services Limited was able to crown its very own Indian arrival King and Queen 2012. Veena Bharath, News 4.
Well, that's how we wrap up this edition of our News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited. I'm Nicola Barito. Thank you for joining us.